Joining us today, he is an undefeated lightweight competing in the PFL, the man of the hour, Mr. Alex Martinez. How are you today, my friends?
Doing very good, thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me,
yeah.
man. Yeah.
So, how's the bubble been down at the PFL so far? I know it's your second time down there, so you kind of have a little bit of knowledge of how everything works, no?
That's right. Yeah, this is my second time doing it, and this time it's a lot less, so it's even better. Last time we actually did a 19-day bubble. So no, actually, my bad, 17-day bubble. I
Okay.
was here 19 days just because I had to come in a little bit early to get some doctor stuff done, and yeah, other stuff. But it's a lot better this time.
Yeah, so I'm curious, kind of in the bubble, you don't have access to like your own kind of things, but I'm sure they provide you with things to cut weight. And how's that been so far? Is it a little bit more difficult than before when you used to compete freely and kind of have access to whatever you needed?
Yeah, well, at first, the first time was kind of like, like you get to fill it out. But the good thing, the first time was a little bit longer, so actually had a little bit more time to adjust in a way, which is nice. Now it's a lot less, but it's okay because I already had experience from the first time. I already knew what to expect and what to see here, so I kind of came a little more prepared just to be able to cut weight better. They provide you with everything you need. They will find a way. You just holler at them and say, hey man, I like to cut weight with, let's say, a tub, and then they will let you. They will rent a room just for you can so you can use a tub, right? I didn't use a tub, so I actually cut weight differently last time. We actually
Okay.
have almost like this sauna pod. I don't know. You've probably seen it before, like. UFC fighters have been using it lately a lot too. It's just like a little sauna pod that you enter. It's like a
Oh, yeah,
zip
yeah,
line.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like a
pretty
bed,
cool
kind of.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I actually enjoy cutting weight a lot better with that. That was my first time I ever used a sauna, but this one was a lot better because actually I never wanted to use a sauna because I'm lacking air and it's not very
hmm
good for your brain. Well, this one actually just goes up to your neck and you're stuck
Okay.
there, so your whole body's sweating like crazy and
hmm
you're still breathing good air, which is awesome. And it's a lot better, I think, than the tub because for me, I put the tub very, very hot, and I usually ended up kind of like burning all my intestines a little bit too much after, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel so ill after every single wake up. Where with this one, I felt so fresh, I had so much more energy, and I cut the same weight. And I was like, man, you know what? I feel very alive. I feel, with a lot of energy, and I cut a lot of weight too. So this time around, the second time should be a lot better. Hopefully, cutting weight is never easy and anything can happen, but at the same time, I think it will be a lot easier. I hope.
Yeah, 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 of course. So I had to ask you about that time in between because before you had time to prepare like the first time around, but this tournament style, you kind of have a shortened period of time to train for an opponent. So how do you think that will? Do you think that'll hinder the performance of some of the athletes in this division, or kind of make them better because they're not as prepared as they would be as they were in the beginning?
I completely understand what you mean by that because, for me, it's a little bit different because I was an alternate and I didn't know I was kind of coming into the bubble pretty much. Well, I was not, didn't know I was going to compete in actually PFL 2021 pretty much the 1 week before. And I was actually was only going to be an alternate. And when they offered me to become an alternate, I was like, well, they offered me some amount of money to get paid to come be an alternate and make weight and be ready to take anybody's place in case somebody falls through, right?
Mm,
So I kind of had to decide whether I wanted to do that or not. And for me, like I said, this time it's a lot better because I actually got to have a training camp, where in my
yeah,
last one
yeah.
was everything so rushed, like I, 1 week before they called me and they say, and I was actually doing an RV training camp, not really training camp, but I was usually like RV training. So I decided, me and my wife, just because all the lockdowns, there's no gyms, decided to like, borrow the RV from my mother and father-in-law. We went down to Vancouver and we just like hop in gyms. I went down to Victoria. We just kind of check gyms. So the training wasn't very camp orientated. So like I wasn't training for a fight. I was just training for fun, and I just pretty much enjoy life. And all of a sudden, I get a call saying, "Hey man, would you like to be an alternate for PFL 2021? You're gonna get paid this much money. If you make weight, you have to make weight and be ready to fight anybody."
hmm
So I was like, I was doubting about it because, one, I don't want to be an alternate. I want to be the main thing in the sense of like, I want to make sure I go fight. If I'm gonna do all that work, I want to get in the mindset of fighting. when you get in the mindset of fighting, your whole life, for me, everything needs to change, the way that I walk, the way that I treat people. I don't treat them differently in the sense of like I'm mean or anything, but just, I almost like I carry an armor with me now just because I'm getting ready to go to battle. I'm getting ready to go to war. So being an alternate means, not really getting to fight, and then I don't know how to calm down that beast after I don't get to fight. I need to unleash that beast somewhere. So somehow, that's a little bit tricky for me. Anyways, I wasn't sure if I was going to take the alternate position. All of a sudden, my coaches told me this is a big opportunity for you. Take it. It's going to be good for you in the long run. Whatever happens, PFL even promised me a for sure fight, whether I ended up fighting on April 23rd or not. They say, okay, if you fight or not fight, we're going to give you one fight for sure by the end of the year. So I was going to be an alternate for this one, for April 23rd, June 10th, which is now. And then, so for me, like I said, I had no camp at all. And now going to the second one, I'm like, well, I got 5 weeks to be able to train. I got 5 weeks to have a camp. So for me, this one is actually a lot better. Than the last one. And then good thing, Johnny Case fell through. Bad for him, but it was a great opportunity for me. I jump in to take Johnny Case's place, and I fought Lloyd Rajabov, and all of a sudden I enter the 2021 season, and which is, I'm very thankful for. And now we'll fight Anthony Pettis. So it's good for me.
Like you said, it is a big opportunity, and now you're fighting Anthony Pettis, such a well-known opponent. But the crazy thing is, you made it past the first round. Which was talked about a lot between the MMA community. So could you kind of rate your performance? Like you said, you didn't really have a camp, but you still got it done, and it went in your favor. So could you talk to me about that performance a little bit?
I wasn't very happy with my performance, I'll be honest to you. I truly believe I had a lot more to offer. Now, that being said, though, my opponent was very tough. My opponent was a game opponent. I think it was number 3 seed, so so the number 3 favorite to win the whole tournament, I think he was. I think Anthony Pettis, the champion was first, Nathan Schulte was first, I think Anthony Pettis was second, and then Lloyd Rajabov, I think, was the 3rd seed. So that meant, he was the favorite to kind of like make it to the top in a way. And we ended up taking on him pretty much almost like a 3 weeks notice, right? But it's really just not even 1 week, because it was really like late notice, because as soon as I knew I was going to fight somebody, I had to leave right away to the bubble. And when you come to the bubble, they provide you with everything you need, but I have no training partners. It was only me, my father, the only training partner that I brought, which was my brother Ian Stovey back home. He ended up popping for COVID, so they had to isolate him, so they had to isolate him. All of a sudden, I have no training partner besides my father, and then I brought my wife as well, which she helped me out a lot for my training camp. So now I'm fighting like pretty much one of the top seeded guys from the tournament with no training camp. When I got told I was going to be an alternate, I was actually walking around 186, so 186 pounds, so it's pretty heavy to go from 186 to 155. So I had no plans to fight at all, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, in 3 weeks we're fighting, So it's like, okay, well, dang, let's find a way to make. And then, we did what we could with what we had, and it turned out well, which is nice. Of course, it wasn't a performance that I wanted, but at the same time, with the circumstances, you cannot ask for any better result, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, you did get past the first round, which is kind of, I'm sure that was in the back of your mind throughout the whole time. Like you said, you had a short training camp, but coming up, like you said, you have 5 weeks now training for Anthony Pettis. So talk to me a little bit. He's one of the most known competitors in this tournament, of course, competing in the UFC and et cetera. So talk to me. How do you feel about this matchup, and how do you see it going down your way?
Well, I feel very confident because now finally I got a good training camp behind me, which is awesome. Like I went to spend time in Vegas there with John Wood and Syndicate, and the guys there were amazing. We had a lot of 155ers, so we had a lot of good names there in the UFC. Especially at 155 ranking, that really helped me out. Their styles also helped me out a lot, and man, I feel very confident, to be honest. I don't wanna get overconfident because I still fighting a very dangerous opponent, and we all know Anthony Pettis. Um, but at the same time, I know that I have what it takes to beat him. So I'm very excited. As long as I can be there, I can show up and stay focused. Everything should go well, and it should go my way. Now I just gotta make sure I show up. That's a big part.
Yeah, of course, of course. So we know Anthony Pettis is in the competition and your most recent opponent, but how do you see the rest of the PFL 155-pound division in this tournament?
Um, Tough. That's the thing. Everybody, there when I not everybody, but a lot of people that were beside me when I got announced that I was gonna fight Anthony Pettis, they got like, "Oh man, you fight Anthony Pettis like this fast in your career?" And I'm like, I don't know if it's fast in my career because I have a very long extended amateur career as well, and I'm already 8-0 now. I had 9 fights in professional, one no contest, and this is my 10th fight, and I'm fighting a big name like Anthony Pettis. But at the same time, I don't think it was gonna be a big difference if they put somebody else in there. We actually asked for this fight. My coaches asked for this fight, and the good thing we ended up getting it. But if you see the whole roster, I don't think that it's an easy fight. The whole roster is just dangerous. You got you got Nathan Schulte, who was a champion 2 times in a row. You got Loic Rajabov, who challenged Nathan Schulte for the championship on 2019, who is the guy that he beat, right? Then you got Anthony Pettis, former UFC champion. Then you have all this other dangerous lineup of fighters, ex-UFC veterans, guys that are just in their prime right now. So, I did not see one easy fight at all. You also have Martin Hell. You got Odin from Belarus. He's actually won, I think, the championship for Europe to be able to qualify to be able to get into the tournament. So then you have Russian Aliyev. It's like I said, you can go on, you can name any fighter in the list, and all of them are dangerous. There is no easy of mind fight. Every single fight you get into this tournament, I think it's the toughest tournament, to be honest, right now in 2021. So even like over Ultimate Fighter 2, because the Ultimate Fighter has a lot of fighters who are just coming up in their careers, where this one is already fighters set to go. These guys are ready to fight. Been through it all, done it all. Experience is already there. Now it's just time to fight. So like I said, whether they give me Anthony Pettis or not, it was gonna be a tough fight anyways. And we chose Anthony Pettis, which is even better. So yeah, we chose this fight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure you would have had to face him eventually down the line, if I'm not mistaken.
If he made it through, like I said, it's such a tough lineup, So he lost last time against
Clay Collard.
That's right, against Clay Collard. And then, man, I don't think any fight was gonna be easy anyways. So you have to go through those rankings, right? And then it's not easy right now. We all the guys that are ahead, in the sense of ahead, we only have 3 points, so anybody can make it still. Anybody still has a chance to make it through. So yeah, it's very competitive. It's exciting, and it's what I'm living for. So I love this. Gets me excited. Yeah.
It's a very exciting tournament. Even if you lost that first one, you win the next one by a finish, you're at 6 points. So you could be tied with someone who won twice in a row, which is the cool part of this tournament. But I know you mentioned Coach Wood earlier on when I asked you, but could you kind of explain to me the impact that he's had on your career so far?
Yeah, well, he's been only added into pretty much late into my career. So pretty much this time that I came for PFL, right? So when I was here in Atlantic City, the PFL wanted me to stay around for the second season, because all the problems and issues going on with the governments and stuff. So they said, okay, we want to keep you in the US just for restriction issues. And I said, okay, well, so right away I had to decide. I had 2 places in mind. One of them was in Florida to go and train with Sanford, just because I know some people from there. And the other one was Syndicate, because before already I was told that I should go down there to train with Coach Sean Wood, just because it was recommended by some other coaches. Actually, when I went down to Victoria to train, when I was doing my RV stuff, my RV adventure, Coach Adam Zuchek told me, okay, go, take a few weeks and go on training in syndicate. So I decided, okay, well, some people already pointing the finger to go there, and I decided I'm gonna go there. When I get there, I was received right away, with arms open, just because, Coach Adam Zuchek and Coach John Woods have very tight connections, and so Coach Adam Zuchek recommended him to take me on to be able to train me, right? And so as soon as I got there, right away, open arms, and the training is hard. Everybody's competitive. They go hard. They spar hard. And at the same time, they're very friendly, which is just the perfect place for me to go. Normally, when I go in other places, everybody goes hard and spars hard. And if you go hard with them, they almost like take it personal, right? So it's kind of like, what the heck, like, I mean, you went hard. I'm going to go hard too, right? So well, this one was like, you go hard, they go harder. And at the end of the day, you shake hands, you're good friends after, which is awesome. And it's hard to find gyms like that. So I loved it. Coach John Wood, he instilled a lot of good thoughts into my head, which is awesome. He gave me a lot of good tips for the tournament and also just for my career itself. And I cannot wait to just go back there, whatever happens in the future, just to go back and get some training there again.
Yeah, 100%. So this tournament, I find it very interesting. But the big question, obviously, is something. What is the first thing you would do with that $1 million? Just the thought in the head, it's got to be crazy, no?
Yeah, I already made some plans actually, once we get $1 million. Of course, I'm not focusing fully on that. I'm focusing one step at a time, one fight at a time. I'm focusing on my next opponent right now, which is Anthony Pettis. And then once we get there, we'll focus on the next and what's next. So one step at a time. So try not to go too crazy with it, kind of like putting the feelings on the side when it comes down to the money. I really don't care about the money, to be honest. But it's right there, so it's there, hard not to think, right? So it's right there, so part of my mind wants to go to that. And I'm like, okay, no, focus on your fight. To be honest, the first thing I will do is I will donate. That's first thing in my mind. Always whenever I get a little bit sum of money, the first thing I do is I put a little bit on the side to donate. And then I put another sum to save. Like, I have a plan. Whenever I receive any type of money, I have a little plan that already goes through. It's almost like a filter process that I have. Doesn't matter how much money I receive. It's like percentages right away. Some percentage goes to donate, some percentage goes to my savings, and then I have a little bit of percentage to kind of like play around with. And then once we get in that spot, then I'll have to think really hard what to do with that big sum, right? But I mean, first thing, of course, will be take care of my people, because at the end of the day, I don't do this for the money. If I was doing this for the money, I would be doing something else, because it doesn't pay much. So yeah, man.
Yeah, so this last one I have for you, I know you have a busy schedule down in the bubble, maybe not as busy as you might like it, but you're an undefeated 8-0 lightweight. Has the thought ever crossed your mind of maybe after this? I know you said you want to take things one step at a time, but the UFC has to be either a goal, a destination that could be a possibility in your career one day.
Of course, I never shut my my opportunities or my gates down. Any promotion could be a big opportunity for me. Of course, right now, like I said, PFL is in my mind. It's like when I was fighting for Brave, I was fully committed to Brave. Now I'm fighting for PFL, and I'm fully committed to PFL. They're treating me so well, and that's something that I love about PFL. They're taking care of me, which is awesome. Of course, like I said, UFC was always a dream, growing up in this sport. And up to now, it's out of my head. Before this, it was in my head because that was a goal. I needed to have a goal, and my goal was to get in the UFC. And then when PFL came knocking on my door, then that goal kind of left, because now it's like, okay, well, PFL is right here, and we're going to focus on what's here, right? So, yeah, I'm just focusing on the promotion right now, but I'm never going to shut my doors to any other promotion, because, at the end of the day, we got to take care of, ourselves as fighters, and UFC is always an opportunity. But right now, PFL is my home.